أن يكون معنا اليوم سعادة خيرار ستايخس سفير مملكة هولندا لدى دولة الإمارات. Good morning, Your Excellency. Great to have you here.
Good morning, Hala, and thank you very much for this opportunity to talk to people here in Dubai and the UAE.
Our pleasure, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, there is a saying which says, the history shapes the future. The decisions we take in the past, the actions, the lessons we learned shape where we are now. How does your past, or how did your past shape your future and brought you where you are now?
Of course, it's always a line that you can only discern when you look back. It's I think the founder of Apple, Steve Jobs, who once said in a commencement address, only looking back you connect the dots.
Yes.
So only looking back you see that it was logically leading to where you are now today. I set out to study history a long time ago. And my intention was to be the best investigative journalist in the world, so wanting to get into your profession actually. And then when I got out of university, there were two job opportunities. One was in journalism and one was in the foreign service. And I thought, okay, I want to be a journalist, so I reacted to that one. And I thought, well, I was curious about how they recruit diplomats. So I thought, okay, I can write a story about that, my experience as a candidate diplomat. So I applied for that as well. And to be honest, I got rejected for both jobs. It was a very tight labor market. I'm a very stubborn person. So I went back to Foreign Affairs at least, and I said, why did you reject me? And he said, well, you sounded too scientific in your recruitment letter, in your application. I said, well, what did you not understand? I said, this and this. I said, okay, I explained it. Okay, then you can come for a conversation after all. So, okay, I got my in. With the other one, they didn't find somebody from the first 400 letters, so they came to the second 400, and they invited me also. And in the end, I got the job in journalism, and I started out as a journalist, while I was still in the procedure for diplomat. Bit to my surprise, because I was a rather left-wing student, bit to my surprise, this conservative profession of diplomacy also hired me in the end. And they said, you're in. I said, okay, I have to think about that because I already have a job.
So you had both of them at the same
time?
time?
I had two jobs to choose from at that point. And then I decided, okay, I can try one time to be a diplomat and see how it is. If I don't like it, I can go back to journalism and write about my experience and make a story.
And you could put on the side the journalism standby? Okay.
Exactly. So I went for and I said, as long as it's fun, I will do this. And to be honest, it's been fun since then, until now. So I never had.
How many years in total?
This was 1985.
And when did you actually start as an ambassador to the UAE?
I started 2023. I came in your hottest month almost in July.
So amazing. Congratulations and welcome to the new assignment. Your Excellency, when we talk about the Netherlands, for example, I'm a person who is not from the Netherlands. The moment I think of the country, the things which come to my mind is innovation, is inclusion, diversity, open-minded. You really welcome everyone. And also you have this innovative solution specifically when it comes to water management, given the status of the country, some of it below the water level, or energy, etc., etc. But how can we describe the Netherlands from a Dutch person, specifically who is representing this country around the world?
Yeah, I think you already do a very good job, Hala, in the way you describe the Netherlands.
Thank you.
I recognize a lot of what I myself feel. I think also, indeed, in that same frame, we're a country of problem solvers.
Yes.
Back in the 16th century, the problem was how can we survive in a wide environment of big powers with a different religion than the countries around us? How are we going to make ourselves continue the lifestyle that we want? So there was this conflict, there was this attempt to create a republic back then. We were not yet a kingdom.
Yes.
And the problem in the end was solved, and it worked very well. Water, indeed, was a challenge. A lot of smart minds tried to solve it, and we came up with a problem solving means of dikes, of waterways, canals, dug to manage the water. Now also we have other challenges, very dense population, energy policies.
Absolutely. Your Excellency, when we come to the UAE, given now that you're representing the Netherlands in the UAE, When we talk about history of the relationships between both countries, we see that you have so many common grounds, specifically when it comes to the success, the happiness, the well-being of both people, and mutually. Also when it comes to innovation, and as we mentioned, resilience, inclusion, diversity. How do you see mainly, like, where are the focus points between both countries? Is it the collaboration when it comes to trading? Is it diplomacy? Is it energy? Is it people? Is it all of the above?
I would say, of course, being a diplomat, all of the above. But I made a sort of connection between our both countries' histories in my King's Day speech. And I recalled that the Netherlands was originally 7 provinces that joined together to create a country that was based on tolerance, on the right to sort of define your own policies, to hold your head up, even when big powers around you may want you to do something else. And there I see really the big connection with the UAE. UAE is also 7 emirates, and also the willingness and the readiness to stand up and be your own country. Even if you have big neighbors, if you have challenges, you want to draw your own course, you want to make your own fate. I think there we find each other, and to do that, we use our brains. We know that we have to be smarter than the rest. We know we have to excel at prosperity, being there for our people. The economy has to make sense, the connections, the ports, everything has to work together to convey this message. We are who we are, and we are independent, and we are going to be the place where everybody can meet, where everybody can be themselves. I think that's a bit the connection I see.
And to convey this message, Your Excellency, what are the actions on the ground? Are there certain projects which reflect the messaging between both countries?
Absolutely. Of course, we find each other when it comes to logistics and maritime trade and ports. Our ports of Rotterdam and Khalifa here and other ports, they work together actively. Also devising ways to, for example, generate the export of hydrogen. Yes. But other things where we think that we can find each other and develop solutions together is water.
Yes.
We have a lot of water, you have very little water, but we can indeed work together on how do you manage whatever situation you confront when it comes to water. So there we find each other. Energy policy I already mentioned.
Yes.
But also we are looking for areas like sustainable finance, yes. Where we are going to hopefully bring...
And inclusion as well.
Inclusion, exactly. And there we really have very interesting initiatives. A very recent development, last year we concluded 2 agreements for that, 2 legal agreements with the United Arab Emirates, fighting international crime. Border crossing crime.
Yeah, terrorist financing, yeah.
It's terrorist financing, but also the way that we deal with criminals in both our constituencies that we really want to see tried at home. We have excellent cooperation there. We have treaties in place, and we fight international crime together. So that's also a very important area of cooperation.
And that's very important because international crimes, and I think these days with the cyber platforms, the crime is now extraterritorial. So one country cannot fight it on its own. It needs this collaboration, which is indeed a very actually interesting collaboration.
Yeah. We exchange information, and that enables us to deal with the criminals that we have in our respective territories.
And Your Excellency, what about food security?
This is indeed a very central item of our cooperation. The Netherlands is, as you may know, one of the most advanced agricultural producers. We also have a lot of technology in that field, and we are working together with the United Arab Emirates to produce better food security, better food production right here. It's very exciting.
Impressive, impressive. And Your Excellency, to wrap up our conversation, any upcoming projects on your way? Or a continuation of the wonderful projects you mentioned?
One thing that is very dear to my heart is the beginnings of our cooperation when it comes to humanitarian assistance. The UAE is a very generous donor for those around the world who are in need, who are finding themselves victims of human or non-human made disasters. Yes. We are also a very big donor, And we are now working on how we can work together to be more effective for those who really, really need every cent that we can manage in Gaza, but also in other parts of the world where disaster has struck. I'm very excited about that. The other exciting project has to do a little bit with that. That's water, but water in the context of security and safety and conflict. We can also work there, I think, together and try to analyze and find solutions. How can we prevent that scarcity of water?
Amazing. Wishing you and all the people of the Netherlands the best of luck and full success in all your projects. Your Excellency Gerard Stijgs, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Hala, for this opportunity.
Thank you.